back to my channel. This is Dori. I'm a teacher of English, and today I want to do something I have never done before in this channel since 8 years ago that it started, more or less, to do a task along with you, step by step, real time. I want to show you through this video the academic strategy, the academic reading strategy that I would use, taking a not given task that I know it's very confusing for you. So before we get started, I just want to tell you that most teachers will tell you to skim through a reading task before you go to the questions, and that is fine. But the problem is you get to ask, okay, what do I do when I skim? And they usually tell you, okay, skim through, just read very quickly through the text. And again, it's not really obvious what you should be doing. And you get even more confused, you get to read the whole text. It's very confusing, you go straight to the questions, you waste time. With my strategy, our mind is focused, is concentrated on the specific, because we are really focusing on one specific thing that we have to do. So, are you ready to do this academic reading task using my strategy together, step by step? Bear with me, because we will have to read things as we would do in a real life exam situation, okay? So, if you have the time, stay patient, stay concentrated, and let's do this academic reading task together.
So we're on my computer. As you can see, I am at the official IELTS website, which it offers free IELTS tests. I am on one of them, and I've chosen section 3, which is considered a little bit more difficult, let's just say. And I chose this section, which is section 3, time travel it's called, because it has a not given task here. The first task is a true, false, not given, actually, because this task is considered a little bit more confusing, a little bit more difficult for the students. I have copied and pasted the whole thing on my Word because it's a little bit difficult to go around like that. So I have done it a little bit like so. So it's for you to be easier to see it, I hope. Now, bear with me because we're going to do the whole strategy together. I'm going to be reading, okay? So it might take a little bit of time. I want your patience for that because I really want to show you how it works. So we see, first things first, let's start. Let's do this. We first start with the title. So we have time travel here. We highlight that. You will be able to highlight it in the actual computer delivered exam, but you can, of course, in the paper-based exam, you're going to underline normally. Now let's go to the first paragraph. Time travel took a small step away from science fiction and towards science recently. We highlight that. Researchers from the European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, in Geneva sent, up until here. Moving on, that's all we need to do. The issue at stake is a tiny segment of time, precisely 60 nanoseconds, which is 60, up until here. Moving on. Nevertheless, there's plenty of reason to remain skeptical, according to Harvard, up until here. Moving on. So, is time travel just around the corner? The prospect has certainly been reached much, up until here. Certainly, any prospective time travelers may have to become more physical and logical. Other possible routes have been offered, though, for Igor Novikov, astrophysicist. Further possibility is that of parallel universes, popularized by Bruce Seligman. And a final hypothesis, one of unidentified provenance, reroutes itself quite efficiently. This is not going to take you more than 30 seconds for each text, especially when you get the hang of it. So while we're doing that, I want to also show you another thing. While we underline the first 2 lines, we try to skim through, now that our mind has concentrated on something more specific, we try to skim through the paragraphs for words that cannot be easily paraphrased, or names, dates, things that grab our attention, because most probably there will be a question on those. So the first thing that grabs my attention here is the word neutrinos, probably because it cannot be paraphrased. It's terminology. Also, things in quotation marks, non-zero mass. This grabbed my attention. I haven't done it before, this text. I'm doing it right now with you. So I want you to see what I'm doing. After a lot of years of experience, of course, but with practice, you can do it too. So I'm going to the second paragraph. Again, we have neutrinos, so it's a motif in this text. We have some things here with names. I have a number. Let's just say I would. I'm showing you what I would do if I was a candidate, an IELTS, candidate. I will do the number as well. Highlight. Then I have Italy here. I would circle those words. It might take some time here at the computer, but you understand that on paper, even in the computerized exam, if you get the hang of it, it will be easier. Now, I have to work my way a little bit through with Word. Okay, I will go to the next paragraph. What would you highlight here? I would highlight, again, neutrinos. This is our word here, our keyword. Here, it explains something. 15,000, I've got a number. Again, I have a name, Peter Gallison. Names are important. They help you. They act as, as lights in the text. This thing is not supposed to take you a lot of time. Here we read it together, we do it together, but with practice and with you concentrated on your paper or on your screen, you won't be talking to explain anything. It won't take you long. Okay, let's go to the first question. What I would do if I were a candidate. It is unclear where neutrinos come from. Of course, we have a question about neutrinos, so I'm underlining this. And unclear. Is it unclear? This is what I have to search in the text. So first, you really understand what the question asks you. Is it really unclear? Come from their origin. One thing you can do is to go straight and try to find the answer, because not given tasks follow the order of the text. That's something a little bit, it comes as a relief because they're quite confusing tasks. So at least they follow the order of the text. So one thing you can do is to underline keywords in the first question and go straight to find the answer. Or the other thing you could do is to underline the whole keyword thing in the questions and then go to find the answers. I suggest the first one, but to each their own. The second option might be better for you. It depends on what you prefer. So I will do the first option here. Let me go straight to the first paragraph to see if there is something mentioned there about the origin of neutrinos. So let's read it together. We're going to do it together, step by step. The first thing I have underlined here is neutrinos, as you can see. So I'm going to go there and scan the paragraph, which means what? I found my keyword. And I'm going to read there a little bit more carefully. Just like we do in a dictionary, we know what we're looking for, we find the word, and then we look a little bit more carefully to its definition. It's the same. Scanning, this is what scanning is. So, particles known as neutrinos, progeny of the sun's radioactive debris, can exceed the speed of light. So, what does this say here? Their origin. They're a product of the sun. Okay, even if we don't know what these words mean, we don't care. It gives us an explanation of what they are and where they come from. So let's go back to our task. It is unclear where neutrinos come from. So what do you think? Is it really unclear where neutrinos come from? No, we have a clear answer here, so it's false. It is clear. We know they come from the sun. Next question. Neutrinos, again neutrinos, can pass through a person's body, let's see a body, these are our keywords, without causing harm. The underlining and or the highlighting here helps me to really understand what the question asks me. If I don't know what the question really talks about, I won't be able to find it. That's the rule. So the first thing I have to do is to really understand what these numbers talk about. I have understood what it talks about, so let's go back to the text. I've stopped a little bit around here, since they do follow the order of the text. I will try to continue a little bit. The unassuming particle, it is electrically neutral, small, but with a non-zero mass. Remember, this helped us a lot. And able to penetrate the human form undetected. Here it is. Able to penetrate. Can you see the paraphrasing? Penetrate. What does penetrate mean? Pass through. So, here it is. Able to penetrate the human form, the human body, undetected. Undetected means without us realizing it, so without understanding it, is on its way to becoming a rock star of the scientific world. Undetected. So we have our answer here, and that's with the first paragraph. We're done with it. Let's go to see our question. What do you think from what we did together? Neutrinos can pass through a person's body without causing harm. True, false, not given? I think it's a clear true answer. Let's move on. It took scientists, that's important, not somebody else, between 50 to 70, that's important too when you see numbers, nanoseconds to do what? We want that because it might have taken scientists 50 to 70 nanoseconds to do something different, but so we need the action. That's why I'm telling you, don't get confused by words or the same numbers. You have to see the meaning behind it. So to send the neutrinos from Geneva to Italy. I have seen these cities. I think I have seen Italy. Let's go and see together. I'm not really sure what we're doing here. I don't remember the text very well. Let's go back together. So obviously we're going to go to the second paragraph now because we read everything from the first one and we answered 2 questions in it already. So I'm going to the second paragraph, and according to what I have here, researchers are scientists, paraphrased what it says there. We have the city here from Italy and Italy. Let's see what it says though a little bit more carefully. Sent, we have the action. Look, it's in the first 2 lines. Send the neutrinos hurtling through an underground corridor toward their colleagues at the Oscillation Project with the Marshall Tracing Apparatus team, 730 kilometers away in Gran Sasso, Italy. The neutrinos arrived promptly. I'm reading a little bit further just to make sure. So promptly, very fast that is, in fact, that they triggered what scientists are calling the unthinkable, that everything they have learned, known or taught stemming from the last 100 years of the physics, discipline may need to be reconsidered. Guys, so far in this paragraph, we have the cities, we have kilometers, we don't have time. We know the neutrinos arrived promptly, very fast, but we have no idea about nanoseconds or anything of that matter. So far it is not given. I just want to check a little bit this paragraph around here, which says the issue at stake, the problem at stake, is a tiny segment of time, precisely 60 nanoseconds. Exactly is precisely. This is how much faster than the speed of light the neutrinos manage to go. In general, they travel. So it's not talking about Italy. It's not talking about anything. Nothing to confuse us here. So we have an answer. I think we have an answer. What do you think? It took scientists between 50 to 70 nanoseconds to send the neutrinos from Geneva to Italy. Did it? Do we know that information from the text? All we know is the places, that it took scientists some time for these kilometers to send the neutrinos, but we don't know the time. We have a mention of 60 nanoseconds to another paragraph. That's why I'm telling you, beware when you see the same words. But it has nothing to do with what the statement says here. So, what is this? Not given. Thank you very much. I hope you agree with me. Hopefully, we'll see the solutions in the end, but I think it's clear so far. Let's go to the next statement. Researchers reported that is, because every time you read, well, this is easier for advanced learners of English. Every time you read a statement, try to think of synonyms of words so as for you to have in your mind clear the meaning of the words, so as for you to be able to recognize the paraphrasing going on in the text. Is that easy? Of course not. It's academic reading, IELTS. It is not easy. I'm just giving you ideas that you can use in your practice. Because as I have said many times, there's no difference if you do one practice test after the other. This is not going to improve your score. Smart practice, working smartly. When you do something different to improve your score in every practice test, that's the good practice you need to, and the smart practice you need to do. So researchers, underlining this one, accounted for, okay, obviously they stated something. For what though? Effects, impact, the moon, okay. I'm not sure if I saw the word moon, might have had. Now, another tip I want to give you, this has to do with, well, through the strategy, we learned some tips about not given tasks as well. Might. These words, even if you think there's no, they're not important enough, they don't have to do with the meaning, they're extremely important when you see words like might, perhaps, must, should. These words potentially change the meaning. So this might here gives a slight chance, not a lot of probability. You have to keep that in mind if you see in the text something different or something similar. On the experiment, so we have an experiment that is going on, obviously. Okay, we understood what this statement is all about. Let's go and find it. Where were we now? It's not in the previous paragraph. We finished with Italy and stuff like that. It has nothing about the moon, I remember. So I'm going straight to the second paragraph to see if there is something else. Okay, there is an issue here, a problem, as we saw before. Managed to go. I'm moving on to read a little bit further down. I hope you can see yourself as well. If not, you can try to watch that video full screen. This would be better in order to do this practice with me. That it is possible to race against lights and win. So far I have no information. I can see the experiment, but I have no information about the moon. The duration of the experiment, here it is again, also accounted for. Oh, I have the same word. It's not paraphrased here, but I have to be careful because it's the same word as well, huh? Just in case. And ruled out any possible lunar effects. I have effect, the same word, or tidal bulges in the Earth's crust. So guys, which word here? Look what they did. They left accounted for the same, they left effects the same, but what word did they paraphrase? The word that you would think cannot be paraphrased. They paraphrased moon with lunar. Lunar has to do with the moon. Let's just say if we have to use an adjective for the moon, it's lunar. So any possible, might, lunar effects or tidal bulges in the Earth's crust. So probably we have an answer here. No effects of the moon. So researchers accounted for effects the moon might have had on the experiment. They did that. They actually did. They came to the conclusion that the moon has no impact whatsoever. But we don't care about that right now because up until this point, this statement is definitely true. I hope you agree with me. If you're still with me, I hope you're still with me because trust me, I'm showing you the whole logic behind this text right now, okay? Let's move on to the next statement. The theory of relativity has often been called into question unsuccessfully. Let's see, there are a lot of keywords here. First of all, the theory of relativity. Remember, we already know where that is. We know the first time it is mentioned in the text, we have underlined it through our skimming technique. So the theory of, we know where to find it. It saves us time. The theory of relativity has often been called into question. There were lots of doubts about it, about this theory. So let's move on to the question. And what happened? Unsuccessfully. They had no success. Let's go find it in the text. We know where it is already. Here it is. I have underlined it here, highlighted. So let me go and read it a little bit more carefully. According to Harvard University science historian Peter Gallison, Einstein's relativity theory has been pushed harder than any theory in the history of the physical sciences. Here it is. First of all, here it is. Yes, it has been called into question. That's the paraphrasing. Yet, look at that. Each prior challenge has come to no avail, no result, and relativity has so far refused to buckle. So what does that say, guys? It's okay, the language is a little bit, let's just say you might not know all the words, but from the context, we have a yet here. But, however, what do you get from that? Was it successfully pushed harder? No, it wasn't. What was it? Unsuccessfully. So definitely it's not a not given. It is true. I hope you agree. If you're still with me, I hope you are, because I really think that this video will help you both with the skimming technique and scanning and not given tasks a little bit more. These tests are free from the official IELTS site. I'm going to put the links below. Let's go to our last statement. This experiment could soon lead to some practical uses for time travel. Let's go. This experiment, we know which experiment it talks about, could soon, be careful. This word here is pivotal for not given tasks. You know why? Because the text inside might say, or any text, now we use that as an example, the text inside might say, this experiment could lead to some practical uses for time travel in the long, far away future. And you might get confused and if you didn't see that little word here and you say, oh yes, true. No, it's not, because look what it says here, soon, pretty soon. So in that case, it would be false. So this experiment could soon lead to some what? Practical uses. Again, another thing for you to really pay attention to. Practical uses, not theoretical uses. Something practical for our daily lives. Very important to know. For time travel, it's obvious. It's the title of the text. This is what we've been working on and reading on right now. Let's go see what's going on. So we've stopped here at relativity theory. There's nothing else here. So we're moving on straight to the next paragraph. Again, I repeat, not given tasks follow the order of the text. That's something helpful for you. So, is time travel just around the corner? Oh, first two lines, the answer to our statement. The prospect has certainly been wrenched much closer to the realm of possibility now that a major physical hurdle, the speed of light, has been cleared. If particles can... Still, we don't get an answer. Don't get confused from closer to the realm. It's closer to the realm of possibility as a possibility. It's not closer to actually happening. And definitely, we don't know anything yet about practical uses of it. Let's move on. So we have to read a little bit more, a little bit further. If particles can travel faster than light, we're moving on here. In theory, traveling back in time is possible. Look at that. In theory. It might be possible. Is it soon enough? We don't know. Practical uses? We don't know. It's still in theory. So how anyone harnesses that to some kind of helpful end is far beyond the scope of any modern technologies. However, and will be left to future generations to explore. Is it soon coming? Definitely not. We have a clear answer here, guys. I suppose we do. What do you think? What would you choose here for number 33? True, according to what we've read and explained. True, false, or not given? In my opinion, it's false. We have a clear answer. It's in theory, not practical at all. It's not soon for sure. We have no idea what's going on. So, let's go and check our answers, actually. Are you ready? Drum roll. Da-da-da-dum. So here we are with the answers. Section 1, it wasn't. I chose section 3 for you. First one, 28, false. False. I'm sorry. 29, true. True. 30, not given. We found it, not given. Sorry, 31, true. 31, true. 32, true. 33, false. That is, guys. That's it. We did it. So I want to tell you something. Obviously, we took lots of time here because I was explaining things. I wanted to show you step by step every single thing. But if you come to think of underlining the first 2 lines of each paragraph and skimming through for words that grab your eye's attention. As you see, I didn't have a lot. Some of them were useless. It doesn't matter. Still, it keeps your brain onto the specific details of the text. It keeps your mind concentrated. So it goes both ways. It's not going to take you more than 30 seconds for each text. Then, what do? We go straight to the questions. We underline keywords, but listen, smart keywords, the ones that can help us with paraphrasing and the ones that can help us locate the answer. And then we scan back to the text. We go and scan really, really well where we found, with our underlining, where we found this information. And we try to understand behind paraphrasing, behind the same words, we try to understand the meaning. And then we find the answer. I think we didn't have a hard time, although it was section 3, we didn't have a hard time finding the correct answers. Is it easy? Of course not. I'm repeating, it's not easy. Also, I'm a teacher. I have done this a million times with my students and everything. I have this experience. However, if your level of English is good enough in order to be able to understand vocabulary, practicing this way, I think in the long run, I believe, I firmly believe, I have seen it with my students, it will gradually save you lots of time. Also, I want to wrap this up with a story of my student. Actually, it happened 2 weeks ago, literally. I have this student that we just started preparation together, face-to-face. So we started this technique with underlining the first 2 lines. And you know what happened in the first task it had? I don't remember what type of task it was, actually. But I remember that she found the answer immediately without going to the text because the answer was in the first 2 lines of a paragraph. Will it happen every time? Of course not. Here it didn't happen, I think. But this gave her a lot of confidence. It was an answer that she found immediately. And she knew it saved her time. She knew what she was doing. So try it. Try it and let me know.
Okay guys, that was it. I really do hope you found it helpful. Please tell me in the comment section below if you tried that strategy, if it worked for you, what you think, what strategy you are using. If it is useful, please do consider subscribing to the channel for more IELTS videos in the future. And also follow me on Instagram. All the links are down below. Until next time, good luck with your exam.